Testing. Now we got some microphone. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the blockchain backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Today, it is Tuesday, May 30th, 2023. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the cryptocurrency market, the stock market, everything else going on, any news that's going on in crypto or news going on out there in the stock market or the macroeconomic world as we get ready to start our day. And in this case, start our week, as we are coming off of a Memorial Day weekend. Obviously, a little bit of technical difficulties there. Swapping back and forth between my laptop yesterday and today. The setting has got jacked up in Streamlabs, but we're good to go now. That's just how things work sometimes. So, all right, welcome to Markets in the Morning. Let's dive on into the price action. There seems to be a lot going on out there in crypto and in macroeconomic world. We're going to have a pretty interesting opening here in the stock market. We're going to have a lot of stuff up this morning. I think we're going to see just a bunch of green all over the board, like pretty decent sized moves. I think Ford's up 4%, Netflix is up 5%, Tesla 3%, Nvidia up 4%. Saw another big one in there. Coinbase is up over 4%. And then we got movement in bonds. We got the tentative debt deal done over the weekend. So now we're starting to see 1 month treasury yields come down. We're seeing 1 year credit default swaps come down. Just kind of good stuff happening out there in the market, and then good action over here in crypto. And of course, everybody is paying attention over here. Good action over there in XRP. So I've actually already recorded an entire XRP video. I've edited it, I've uploaded it, and it's finished processing at YouTube. It's just waiting for me to hit the go live button at this point. So once we get done with Markets in the Morning, we'll get it out there. We'll keep Markets in the Morning relatively brief. I'm going to try to keep it around 30 minutes just because we already got the video done. You guys got enough of me yesterday at 2.5 hours of a live stream. We'll keep this one pretty brief and get on our way and get that video out there and talk about XRP. Bitcoin. So I put out a video yesterday on Bitcoin. Capitulation seems to be complete. Not so certain we're actually going to get down here unless there's just one more wash in here. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good here for Bitcoin. As for one other thing I noticed, though, I noticed over here on Ethereum, the price level we've been looking for Bitcoin, we actually got that back on May 12th here for Ethereum. And that's also what we got down here for XRP back at the 200-day moving average. So we got within like $500 of hitting that level there for Bitcoin, but we actually did end up getting it there for Ethereum at the same time as XRP hitting the 200-day moving average. So I don't know. It's looking pretty optimistic out there that the bottom seems to be in broader, in just lots of different aspects of the market. So in my video today, we go a lot through XRP right in here. The thing we've been watching for on the Elliott wave down in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, holding at 4. You guys know what happens at 4 many times. We roll over and go and hit a new low. Yesterday, we got the break through it. We got the close through it. Today, we're holding above it. We'll see how we close today. But an optimistic sign for me, at least, to think the probabilities of shifting on down and going even lower, I think those odds have just significantly gone down. That we are looking a whole lot more like what we've looked like before as we start to work out these bottoms in here. Now the bigger challenge comes in here, which I'll talk about in the video, is consolidation, right? We're seeing kind of these creeping movements happening here in XRP. Anybody who's experienced in XRP, I would say if you've been in XRP for at least a year, you probably know it, that anytime we move up with any significant real movement or any serious percentages, it happens really fast. You get like a 20% candle one day, followed by a 30% candle the next day, followed by another 30% candle the next day. Then boom, it's all over and we're stopped. This has been more of a 2% one day, 3% the next day. Today we're at 1.24%. This kind of just like creeping price action happening in here, not like actual breakout price action. So focusing now is going to be more on like retracement levels, consolidations. But if you have to look at it, and say, does it seem like we're still continuing this? For my rules, I can't continue to lean on this any longer. And it's not just because, with fractals, you can break away from these things a lot. Look in here. look how high this goes, look how low this goes. Let's find other deviations here. Here's a deviation right in here. Like how high this goes compared to this. It's not so much about that. It's the confluence of the two things. It's that we got through that wave 4. That's typically if you're gonna even like just go down and just whack one little low and then come back up. That's typically where you're going to do it. The fact that we've gotten through, the fact that we've closed a day above it, the fact that we're still holding it. We'll see. Just confirm it. Let's get another daily close above it today. For me personally, probably ruling this out to be the case of how things are going to play. But it doesn't rule out. I don't want to get rid of that. I wanted to get rid of that. It doesn't rule out more consolidation. And so that's kind of the challenge we're in. And it's going to be really focusing now on retracements. So we're not seeing like breakout price action happening. We're seeing creeping price action. 1, 2, 3, 4% in a day. That's not XRP's typical like breakout moves. But we're definitely getting through some resistance levels. And that's what's really interesting. So for me, it's going to be like, if I am going to enter more money in the market, especially just into XRP, for me, I'm probably not going to be holding out until significantly lower prices at this point. I think that for me kind of like lays kind of a rule in the sand for me to say, we're getting a little too high. Doesn't mean we're in breakout, but it's not like we're acting like what happens in these typical waves where wave 4 is the rejection. That's typically what happens in here to go then set the new low. That's typically what happens in here. That's typically what happens in here to go set a new low. That's typically what happens in here to go set a new low. That we're just kind of breaking all of those rules of the historical behavior of XRP at resistances. So for getting into new lows, I'm probably going to start reducing the likelihood of me thinking that those are possible and more focusing on lower to mid 40s for me personally, if I'm going to add to my bags. If I don't get to add my bags and if we go into breakout, oh, boo-hoo. That's so sad. 5 years of waiting, I'll take it. But as for like getting too excited about a breakout happening right now, we're at retracements, right? This is the big area to pay attention to currently right now. So, excuse me, you'll hear my dog in the background. My daughter is going on a trip this week. So summer's kicking off and she is going to go on a trip and she's getting picked up here in just the next couple of minutes. So we might hear the dog go absolutely bananas. As for XRP though, from a time perspective, we've gotten our ways right down in there. What are the confluence of events that are occurring currently right now? One, you got Brad Garlinghouse saying that we're weeks away from this case coming to a conclusion. Not months away. He says we're weeks away from the case coming to a conclusion. At the same time, we've got Bitcoin working on what? A retracement, the thing we've talked about for years. And then at the very same time, we got the Dow up near the 702 retracement. And you got the NASDAQ fighting for the 702 retracement. So you got your retrace coming in the NASDAQ. You got your retrace in the Dow. You got Bitcoin working on your retracement. You got the lawsuit coming to a conclusion. You got your fractals coming to a conclusion. You have your conditions all lining up for a rotational market. It's just an exciting time. But I know how this community acts. And I know this community is very emotional. In both directions, the upside and to the downside, very emotional. And just kind of in a reality check, just kind of laying it out. Where are we, right? We're at about a 50% retracement of the fall that we've done. This is a good sign. This gives optimism for that being the low. But we don't have price action that is like saying we're in breakout, right? I think we should all know that. We're not in breakout price action currently right now. But we're definitely giving optimistic price action of hinting that this is the low. So those are the good things to see out there right now. Move it along. Let's see what the stocks are doing now that we've got an opening happening in here. So the NASDAQ is having a decent day, up 1% now that the stock market is open. The Dow about flat, only up 14 points. The S&P up about 0.5%, up about 20 points. Big leaders of the morning, Coinbase, look at that, up 8% as the market opens. Crypto. Netflix up 6%, Ford up 5%, Nvidia up 4%. Pretty decent morning to start the day. Gold, as we could see, gold had that pullback from the high. And what have we seen happen since then in the market? ripping markets, right? Ripping equity markets with gold pulling back, with that sort of inverse relationship happening in there. Now, the big news heading into this week, of course, is that there's the tentative debt ceiling deal that's coming up. Let's go ahead and just kind of read these things and see what they're selling to us over here. The S&P 500 rose Tuesday after the Biden administration and Republican lawmakers reached a tentative deal on raising the U.S. debt ceiling. The broader market index climbed 0.5%, 1.3%, struggling. Okay. President Joe Biden and House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy reached an agreement to raise the debt ceiling and avoid a default over the weekend. With Congress set to vote on the legislation as early as Wednesday, lawmakers have not signaled that they intend to return to Capitol Hill early to work on the deal. Both Republican and Democratic support is needed for the bill agreement to pass. Although the upcoming votes in Congress still pose a small risk, the main risk had been that political pressures would prevent a deal from coming together. Excuse me. Now that a deal has been reached, it seems very likely to pass both chambers of Congress in the coming week. An agreement comes just days before the so-called X date of June 5th, which is the earliest date the Treasury Department has signaled that the U.S. could default on its debt obligations. Let's see. You guys will have to excuse me. I've developed a cough in the last 2 days. Keep muting. All right. Debt limit deal faces final test, so it sounds like they've got a vote on it still on Wednesday. Market's getting ahead of itself, a little bit excited about it. Okay. So anyway, yeah, they've come to an agreement, it sounds like, between Republicans and between the president, but now it's got to be voted on. Not everybody's going to get what they want. Some people will get what they want. All right, we'll see. So, is it going to pass, right? That's the big question. I look to just paying attention to the bond market and what the bond market has to say about it. This has been the big worry right here. Has been the 1 month, right? The concern that the Treasury would not pay out once you got past it, because a 1 month Treasury is going to land there in June. We've seen the Treasury's the highest of everything. It's just complete inversion happening in here. 1 month was the highest. You can see today it has fallen substantially today. The 1 month yield, as the market now opens, as there's a hope for this deal to go through. So now the bond market is signaling that. In addition, credit default swaps are falling. So we got down to 112. So we were seeing as high as like 170 earlier. Of the highest credit default swaps for 1 year bonds in all of history, higher than great financial crisis. These are coming down. So these are showing optimism that it's costing less to have to insure your bonds against a U.S. default. So we're seeing the 1 month fall. We haven't seen that yet in the 2 month, but there was such an inversion going on here in the market that the 1 month was paying the highest yield out there. So as we start today, yields, look at that 1 month. That's awesome. So just if you wanted to buy them, it's not that awesome because it's going down. But it's awesome from just a reading the market perspective. Credit default swaps are falling. People are less worried about having to insure their bonds. And we're seeing short duration bond yield, at least the shortest duration, the 1 month, is falling. It's off of its high of nearly 6% just last week, down to 5.18%. That is pretty awesome. I'll take it. Otherwise, economic calendar. Do we have anything going on the economic calendar this week? I think we had home sale information come out today. Home prices are slightly up. So we see houses recovering. So after going through like 6 to 8 months of kind of like stagnant to falling home prices, they're up again. You do have seasonality that happens in this time of year, at least in the United States. And these are usually the busiest months of the year. It is right here in May, June, July, and August for home sales. So hard to read, at least for me, hard for me to read too much into that. As for economic calendar, I didn't see anything huge on this week. Truth be told, it only got to like Thursday. Let's see. Non-farm payrolls, initial jobless claims. That's what we always see every week. Friday, non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate. Nope. So nothing too huge this week. So just keeping an eye on Bitcoin, which had a nice move throughout the weekend. We covered that in yesterday's video. XRP getting through resistance levels. Now it's going to be about watching retracement levels for any types of breakouts. Technically speaking, at a 50% level, this is nothing but ranging happening in here. However, signifying positive price action, hinting that that is the actual low. So that's probably the greatest news that comes out of that. What it doesn't tell us, though, is if we're in a breakout and the actual price percentages that we're moving don't signal to us that we're in a breakout. But it definitely gives an optimistic viewpoint on that being the low, rather than some type of continued spring phase. So we talk about Wyckoff spring versus Wyckoff last point of support in today's video as well. This is a deviation. So hot dang, rock and roll. Doesn't mean we're breaking out. But anybody who is like dreading this, and my thoughts are the odds of that just drastically went down. So rock on. Otherwise, that's really what's going on as we start out our week. So let's hop into the chat. Like I said, I've already got an XRP video recorded, edited, uploaded, and processed. It's just going to take me hitting the go live button on the video for it to go. So we'll get through the live stream quickly after a 2.5 hour live stream yesterday, and then we'll just get back to business. All right. Luke, thanks for all you do. You're potty training a 2-year-old today. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. We're still struggling with my son, and he is older than 2. Whiskey 2 comes out swing and says, like the video. Thank you, guys. Yes, if you are tuning in, we have 1,500 viewers in here. If you could, hit the like button. All right. Good morning, BCB squad from Gator. Arati says, what's your on small time frame? I'm assuming you skipped a word and said take on small time frame. Do you think we can get a pullback? I talk about that in today's video. I think it's probable. The thing I have to be careful about with my wording here is I know how this community is. I think the most frustrating thing about the community is all the conspiracy theories. That's the hardest thing because it's hard to have reasonable, logical conversation with a lot of people because they're so engraved in false narratives. And so if you try to have a logical conversation, they're going to come back with, no, don't you understand the secret CBDCs and the peg to gold buybacks of the Fed? And you can't have a reasonable conversation with people. But that's not everybody, right? It's a small segment, but they're really loud. And there's so much emotion that the logic says this is going to pull back. But if you check my comments and my videos, I had when we were up at 58 and I was saying, hey, we're pulling back. I had people telling me all types of stuff of why we'd never go to 40 cents. This price behavior is not like a breakout, right? It's not like a breakout. There's no like news catalyst happening in here. We're up 1% today. We were up 2.5% yesterday. We were up 2% the day before. This is very much of the type of price behavior that whacks right back down. If we are going to get breakout, you got the retraces. That's where I'll start FOMOing. Not like I'm going to FOMO buy. I've been accumulating XRP for 5 years. But I don't think there's a narrative or anything happening in here or any type of price behavior that's happening of breakout behavior. So a whack down and then, the narratives will come out. Why is XRP falling today? We see it on Cointelegraph. The most clicked articles they ever have are why is this price up today or why is this price down today? People search for the narrative for it to happen. I think the most likely thing is a pullback. But this is just a range. It's just ranging behavior. So we kind of have to wait on it. But I got a 22-minute video coming out talking all about it. So, yeah. Now, the things I have to be careful about is the community is so emotional, and it's okay that it's emotional because that's what normal human behaviors are. But they don't buy lows. They only buy highs. They get mad when prices pull back after they FOMO'd in at tops. They don't buy lows and prices rise up and they FOMO again. That, if you get a pullback, I'm going to buy lower. I'm just going to keep waiting. I'm going to buy lower. Or if it gets higher, it just pulls up. And if you've been in XRP for any amount of time, you know it. We start moving up. What's the normal behavior? I can't stop buying XRP. I'm FOMOing. Price turns over. I hate my life. I hate it. And we're in like one of those moments right now. Like, look, we've risen a bit. We're kind of at retracement levels. We haven't really seen a decent correction in a minute. It's technically ranging behavior. You kind of got to be careful here in the middle of a range because there's definitely not breakout behavior happening. It doesn't mean the next candle that shows up isn't going to be some 20% doozer, right? But it's definitely not there right now. This is 1%. Like anybody in the XRP community who's been through any move upward in price action for XRP knows they're like this. And it's the switch has been flipped. What secret CBDC is being used? This is just your typical breakout, and this is alerting to me. And so I even posted on Twitter yesterday. I said, nice. Okay, we got through here. This is the first deviation we've seen in 9 months, right? So go through 9 months of price action in here. You can go all the way back to August. This is the first deviation to happen in here. We break through not only getting rid of fractals, who cares, that's one thing, but then to also get through resistance levels. That's two things. So you have a couple of things that have happened in here. But I commented and said the odd thing that has happened in here is that the altcoin market wasn't going with it. So the altcoin market cap was not rising. So you saw XRP up, 3% or so. But you saw the altcoin market cap down like 1 or 2%. And that's not typical breakout behavior, especially since the market cap of XRP is included in the total altcoin market cap. It's a weird dynamic to have that happen. And then, the conspiracy thing get posted, right? We're front running and it's all this. There's some secret stuff going on. And, it's like, no, that's not what usually happens. That's not what happens ever. What always happens is they'll move up together. And even even for those who think like that is remotely possible, you have to understand the mathematics of it, that if XRP breaks out and goes flying to moon, it's included in the altcoin market. The altcoin market cap should rise with that. So there is some type of ebb and flow happening underneath the hood of the market for that to occur, for the altcoin market cap to fall while XRP was rising in here. It's just odd. Not sure what to take of that. And that's where conspiracies will go wild. But that's not the way I view it. I view it as if you go through every bull run, every big breakout, every big move for XRP, it is in coordination with the altcoin market cap. So the question is this the breakout of here? Just retracement levels would tell you no, it's still ranging, going for third range boundary. And so your question is, can we pull back? Yeah, definitely we can. This isn't a breakout. This does give signal that the odds of that being our bottom have increased. That's what that does. But it doesn't give signal that we go to new all-time high. It just increases probability of that being the low. So can we range in here as we have in times before? Most definitely. So for me to get rid of that worry, concern, whatever you want to call it, we all know it. get through all of these puppies, and then we'll start acting like YOLO FOMO madmen and women. Zoltan says, "What's up, Bakurians?" Hey, everybody's a Bakurian. I see too few likes. I agree. 1,700 people with 400 likes. What's going on here? BCB, what's your number one holiday destination? Keep up the great work. Your community respects and loves you. Thank you very much, Zoltan, for the kind words and rallying the community for likes. As for my favorite holiday destination, I don't think I've traveled enough. We've been to Breckenridge, Colorado many times, maybe 5 times. But it isn't, and maybe that's just because I don't really travel to too many places. I really enjoyed traveling my car trip a couple of years ago with my wife. I thought North Carolina was very beautiful. I thought Eastern Tennessee was very beautiful. I thought that Eastern Kentucky was very beautiful. And I thought Western Virginia was very beautiful. Not to be mistaken with West Virginia, but the western side of Virginia, not actually the state West Virginia. The state West Virginia was pretty too, but I thought the west side of Virginia was very pretty. Otherwise, yeah, I don't know. I don't do a tremendous amount of vacationing. Maybe one day. But I would say the most common place we've been to has been Breckenridge. Chris Long says, "Are you opening BCB's barbecue after Moon?" I'm assuming a restaurant. Definitely not. I will probably finally get a trigger. I always remember it, man. I barbecue, I do all that stuff, and you just forget. And that's why it's been so long since I've made a brisket. How exhausting it is to make one. At 9 hours in, you're like exhausted. You finally reached the finish line. You're over 200 degrees on that brisket. You finally made it. You take it out, and then you're like, "I'm done." And you're like, "Now I have to let it sit for an hour and a half and cool down before I can cut it." And you're like, "Oh my gosh." So, no, I'll get a Traeger or someone to make me briskets. Thank you, Chris. 702. Zoltan says, "Promise us that after Moon you'll visit Japan." I don't know, maybe. I've got nothing wrong with Japan. It's just so far away. I have been to China. I did go to China by myself in 2016. That was interesting. I have been to Russia as well. Thank you, Zoltan. And then Rob Smith says, "Thank you for your work, blockchain backer." Just a kind message. Thank you, Rob. Cool. All right. So that's where we're starting today. Let's see what's going on in the actual markets in here. The NASDAQ, as we can see, now approaching the big one. It's approaching the 702 Fibonacci retracement. Remember, all your Fed experts from back in October that it would be impossible. Don't fight the Fed. Here we are, all the way back. Of course, the Dow Jones has already gotten there as well. Looking at Bitcoin, looks like Bitcoin's kind of pulling back a little bit now. Not that the markets are getting going, but we're still pretty much green throughout the majority of the market in here. One other thing to look at really fast, things we've been looking at. Who's done well? IOTA's done well. And I'm not sitting here saying anything is special about IOTA in particular, but we've been looking at, for if you're just like your first time tuning in, to get below these lows in here, right? The ABCs to getting below here. And we've recognized that in many aspects of the market, and how things like H-bar, where are you, H-bar? Right? H-bar still sits there, right? And we've been watching this and I've been saying, hey, this is like my accumulation. This has been the spot I've been eyeing to accumulate for a long time. But the concern I've had has been with Bitcoin and whether or not Bitcoin's going to have that one more little plunge. And you can see that over here on Filecoin as well, right? Down in here as well, pulling back up. So we're seeing even optimistic signs here on these ones that we've been tracking in the same manner that they're pulling out. And you'll see that this is in a lot of the market. So this is optimistic too, to see this happening in here, because this is what typically happens at bottoms. You get this ABC that takes a long time to play out. which we've talked, I'm not going to go too much in depth. We talked about way too much, but that they're holding. And some of them are still sitting down in there and they haven't pulled out yet, but some of them are starting to. So I went ahead and grabbed a little bit of H bar in here because we're at the price level. Bitcoin is signaling that the capitulation is beyond us. We're seeing other assets that have these similar setups that we've been waiting for, doing the same thing. And I'm just kind of biting my time waiting for that one. So I went ahead and grabbed a little bit of H bar. I'll start peeking around more today to see if there's any other ones that I wanted to just kind of nibble at. But you saw that. You can see Filecoin starting to work its way back up out of there at this point right now, coming off of IOTA really pulling it out of there. So other good signs out there throughout the market as well. William Slater says, on the 15th of March of 2017, XRP versus Bitcoin. XRP went higher and Bitcoin lower. You keep saying it's never done it before. It has. All right, William, let's see. So I have stated that XRP has never gone higher while Bitcoin has gone lower. That's the words that I have said. Pretty sure we've been talking about the altcoin market cap today, sir. Not Bitcoin. But let's go look at what you're talking about. March 15th, 2017, XRP is down. Okay. So what are we talking about here? So there's XRP down on March 15th of 2017. And there's XRP over Bitcoin down on March 15th of 2017. On XRP versus Bitcoin. I'm not sure what your argument is, sir. All right. Blockfella. BCB the GOAT. I want to call you Blockzilla. I need XRP to moon to be called, to be called Blockzilla. Now I'm only fella. XRP daily perfect ABC zigzag. 6 cent from bottom to top, both A and C. God bless to all. Let's see what you're saying here. From 6 cent from bottom to top. From 6 cent. What time frame are you talking about, bro? 6 cent. We can't even be talking about here. We can't be talking about here or here. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. I'm confused, my dude. From 6 cents. 6 cents from the bottom to the top. I'm confused. Thank you, Crystal Seth. William says compare that period, not the exact date. William, nobody has debated Bitcoin and XRP. The specific wording used today, used in tweets, has been altcoin market cap. Bitcoin can absolutely fall while XRP rises. But XRP is not included in Bitcoin's market cap. It's included in the altcoin market cap. My dude, Blockfella, man. First of all, I appreciate the support. You're here like almost every day, my dude. I'm not following you, bro. On ABC Zigzag, I'm not following it here. I'm lost. Gary is in the chat. Oh, Gary Gensler. Hey, you guys don't. Gary's a member of the BCB channel. We're kind to people in our community. Audio seems distant. Sorry. That's a bad habit that I have. I like lean forward. XRP is junk. Blues Traveler. All right, guys. So let's take a look at the market one quick more time, and then I'm going to wrap this thing up to get my video released because it's all done. It's all ready to go. We got 1,700 people in the chat. We got 600 likes. Let's go. If you want to, we want it. Let's do it. Like. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, Bitcoin 27,843, still holding in there, but we got a lot of junk on here. Still holding up in here, doing fairly well. If nothing's changed since yesterday's video on that. The bigger move has been over here with XRP clearing above that 48.7 cents, closing the daily candle and continuing today. I'll have a video released all about that later today. There we go. There's a better picture of it. A complete deviation of what we have followed for 9 months. Not just a fractal deviation. Oh no, the lines aren't following what they're doing. But also a deviation of just wave count structure that was happening in here of our wave counts, all that stuff that eventually went on to get another low, right? So in here we have a 1, 2, where are we? 3, 4, 5, back to wave 4, and then down like we typically do. We've seen that probably 5 times in the XRP price chart in the last 3 years. And then that's our deviation today, or deviation yesterday to get the breakout that happened in here. So optimistic for our low being down in here. Definitely doesn't give us like breakout signs, and we're not getting breakout price action, but optimistic for our low being in. And then, of course, you can kind of count waves in here too. What do you see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pretty good thing. But it doesn't mean you don't pull back and consolidate like we typically do before we can then march on to the upside. But definitely that move for me opens up the gates to say this blueprint seems to be probably thrown in the trash at this point. Been good for 9 months, probably thrown in the trash here. Does not give us a breakout signal at all. We're only at 50%. Definitely not a breakout. But some optimistic signs to say this seems to have more validity of being the bottom. So that's cool. Otherwise, as for the stock market, we got a pretty, let's see here. Is that right? I don't know why that is now. Oh, because yesterday was open. So we're still up 86 points over here in the NASDAQ. The S&P is up 9 points, but you can see the Dow has flipped slightly red over there. Still, the leader of the day over there is Coinbase, up about 7% to get the day going. And where's the yields? Where are you at? As the 1 month yield takes a tumble, finally falling from 5.5% to 5.19% on optimism. And I don't care about optimism of whatever news headlines are going to give us. This is the kind of optimism I care about, to see where people are putting their money. And people feel more optimistic. And when you see these yields fall, it means there's higher demand. So there's more demand for these 1 month yields, having faith that the Treasury will be able to pay those out. So that's a good sign. And then another sign of putting money where the mouth is to say that it's going to, there's optimism, is we're seeing the 1 year credit default swaps follow as well. So that's great. So it's expected there's to vote on the debt ceiling. Congress is on Wednesday. Market seems to be pretty optimistic about it so far. But again, this is all handshake stuff. This is all verbal agreements. None of it really matters until we get to signing on the dotted line. So that's what we'll be waiting for this week. Otherwise, economic calendar, there's not a whole lot going on in the economic calendar this week. Home sales are up. Home prices are up. So a little bit of a recovery there. But from a seasonality perspective, May, June, and July are typically pretty good months for home sales. So all good. All right. There we go. Did I miss anything? Crypto Pigeon says, yo, BZB, my 50x short is up S Creek at the moment. So naturally, I increased my position. Wish me luck. Or tell me I'm a dingus. Hey, man, you do you, buddy. So, oh, yeah, hold on. There was a guy who asked me yesterday. You guys realize PTW takes good care of you. She writes me messages to tell me when markets are closed for the day, and I'm over here not knowing. And then yesterday, Jason Sims had asked about AUD USDT. Right? So I don't even know what I'm looking at. I don't. So when you get price action like this, I don't know what this is. I don't know if it's a pump and dump. Let me see what the. It's got like 6 million, 3 million, 2 million, 4 million, $1 million of daily liquidity on Binance. I don't know. You know, you see a big move in here, but I don't know anything about this asset to know if it's a Australian dollar and USDT. I mean, is that what? So is this one is this the Australian dollar, and then is this on Binance? Is this something different, or is this still the Australian dollar? That's weird, right? Because do you see that same volatility in USD? No. I don't know, man. If that's what that is over there on Binance, unless if there's like something that happened with like Binance and with Australian users using Tether or something. I don't know why that would be happening. Let's go ahead. And then he says, look at XRP AUD. Yeah, not a whole lot. So like you had said, check out AUD USDT and then the XRP AUD pairing. It hit the low zone you have been talking about with XRP USDT. I don't see anything too different here on XRP versus the Australian dollar. I don't see anything too different in here. Except that it seems like a little stronger against the Australian dollar. Yeah, Ivan says, hey, BCB, is it possible that we are now doing an ABC now in XRP instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? It would not be the first time that a C leg exceeded wave 4. Correct. It's not the first time. He's saying, is it possible that we're having one like this? Right? That's always possible. But for me, I can't just say, like, if we were in an uptrend, right? Like what we've been having going on with Bitcoin, right? We were in an uptrend. It's saying, yeah, we can go back. We'll go hit the bigger retracement, right? So like, here, let's do this. Right. So if you wanted to wave count this, you would say, well, no matter what, this gets way above like wave 4, right? Like let's pretend to count in here. Like if you did 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, right? Well, you obviously get way above 4 to get into that 702 retracement to finally A, B, C, right? And so then you get zigzag, you get waves of equal length, ABC correction. So the question is, well, can't we just do that here with Bitcoin or with XRP? Excuse me. I think that's what your question is. Typically in an uptrend, those are the type of corrections that I do look for, but I have to remember the context we're in. And the context we're in is range. So we're in this big fat range and trying to guess the behavior within the range. And I just don't often see that after this phase, right? After this is considered our secondary test, this is spring. So it's actually, it can be called two different things. So you can either have spring happening in here or last point of support. Last point of support is going to be like your spring, but just less aggressive. It's just not going to come down with just absolute crashing testing of supports. And I wouldn't, and I don't see that happening where you have these nice 702 corrections that occur like this in the spring phase or in the last point of support. I just don't see those out of all the dozens of them that I've watched. I haven't seen that. So I wouldn't find it likely. If I had to make my guess, with where we're at, I would say probably we've removed the chance of spring aggressiveness, unless there's like some black swan that shows up here and all markets have a liquidity event like we saw with COVID. My guess would be just a last point of support consolidation in there, just like we had in here. The thing about this one is what happens at much lower pricing. We've already gotten higher than that, so we're kind of like up in here. So if we start threatening breakout, it'll be at retracement levels much higher. But I just could not imagine. It would be so odd in a ranging context to ABC all the way back to retracement levels and then go on for C here. You just don't see that in a spring very often. In my memory of all the ones I've looked at, I can't recall any. So. Michael Jordan. So we got Gary Gensler and Michael Jordan up in here. Do you think Filecoin will ever get back to its upper level highs? No. I think if Filecoin even goes on a major bull run, probably not. No. Because Filecoin has a over 130% annual inflation rate, which means somebody's taken, somebody is siphoning the market value out by printing new tokens and just figuring out who are the people who are getting all of those tokens. It's not the holders. The holders are the ones who are getting the value kind of stolen from them. Grass33 says, do you see the low on the 2nd of January of 2023 attest to the lows for this bear for XRP? Yeah, and we said that at that time. Pretty sure you could probably check the video I put out that day or the day after saying that's the bottom. Still believe it. Even if you had a spring come down in here, we've been talking about prices, still not talking about prices going below there. But that would still be the low. Dr. Ty, Filecoin prints coins like the U.S. Reserve. Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest offenders. And Flare. Flare is going to be darn near impossible to keep up with the amount that's added to supply. Because what is it currently right now? It's like a 20% increase every month. I don't know. All I know is let me go look at my Flare wallet. Because, I got to partake in this system and see if there's any value here. All right, Flare, what you got? Waiting for it to load. Okay. Wow. Okay. So after getting the free Flare, after all the claimed rewards, after all the monthly airdrops, after everything added, everything. The value in US dollar has not increased by $1. It is still exactly the same way it is as it was, with almost double the amount of Flare in my wallet. Surprise, surprise. That's what we said would happen. It's a massive supply issue for Flare and Filecoin. I'm so disappointed in Filecoin. I love the idea of decentralized storage. I was a fan of ZimoNitrome for forever. Fan of Filecoin, fan of the whole thing. But the supply issues are just astronomically terrible. All right. We're going to get this thing wrapped up here. So, M. Stelovich, what if we take out the FTX crash, as stocks did go up and trend was broken, and then look at the charts again? I feel it makes more sense. Well, I feel it makes sense currently the way it is. I think the thing about Bitcoin was, let's go grab it. Let's just go grab it. It's been a long time since we've had to do this because the bottom has been in like we expected it to be. Let's do this. So the theory of the market has been that we've actually been in the ending phase for some time, right? We all remember this. It's been a long time since we've had to pull it up in here. But that we were already working on Wyckoff accumulation happening in here, right? And then we just came early because of CZ Binance. And so many people give him a free pass. He totally attacked them at the right time. He attacked them the second that the market hit the 200-day moving average. But this is still a Wyckoff accumulation schematic that happens in here. As you can check, we even have it open up here. I don't have the tab open. And the irony of it is that it goes down. Let's do this. So we'll use the literal height here. That's what it takes. It takes that FTX collapse to give us that last moment. So, we're in our Wyckoff accumulation. Yeah, you can have Wyckoff accumulations that do not set a new low. They can hold the lows. Or in this circumstance, it just breaks really early and does set the new low. And if you study Wyckoff accumulation, spring phases can definitely set new lows. I find them to be a little bit more rare to see that. I do find usually this is what we see in the crypto market when it comes to the really bigger time frames. But this is what we ended up happening. And it's almost like it was baked into the cake, as weird as it was. And the altcoin market did hold that low, right? So, right? We did not set a new low for the altcoin market. It held. So your question is, what if we take out the FTX crash as stocks did go up and trend was broken, and then look at the charts again? I feel like it makes more sense now. And I'm not sure how we take it out, take out the FTX crash, and just say, you know what, let's pretend that didn't happen and modify the chart. I don't have a way to look at it any differently and eliminate that. But I would say, the charts had some confluence to it, as strange it is as it is, and the timing of it as it is. We're acting okay, right? And so in here, what happened in here, right? The stock market did go up, as should we have, but CZ came in a little bit early. He acts like such a Boy Scout, but that was timed. If it wasn't timed, CZ, as the man who owns the largest crypto exchange in the world, if it wasn't timed, you sure did it at a technical level after 400, how many days was it? 200 and something? You waited 214 days. Then we hit the 200-day moving average and within 24 hours issued the biggest attack on another exchange. Call it coincidence, call it luck, call it what you want. I don't know. There's a guy who has the most data out there possible on the market, and he hits it right there. He waits until that moment to say, we're dumping all of our FTT tokens. A little weird. I don't know. So it's like it was baked into cake. If anything, it got us to get it over with sooner than later. Because even in this time, we were talking about the spring coming, saying, you know what? Everybody's bearish. What's going to happen? This thing can break out of here. Everyone's going to FOMO. And then wham, we're going to whack back down into the lows for our spring. Because that's what Wyckoff springs look like. Instead, the spring just came a little bit earlier. So for all we know, he could have even been doing the crypto economy a favor by getting it done earlier. Maybe he saw more problems that this would have brought in more leveraged longs. I would think that would have happened probably. So, I mean, if you kind of play, like, think of it as chess, the retail investor on the break of the 200 would have leveraged long. If you all of a sudden brought in a tremendous amount of leveraged long liquidity in here, and then the spring happened, imagine how much far worse the damage would have been. So who knows, man? Maybe he did crypto a favor. I know that's weird. That's a tinfoil hat thing, but maybe he did. Either way, the timing of it was impeccable. All right. So guys, here's the deal. I've got a video all recorded. I'm going to shut this thing down. If you don't know, we actually hang out in the chat. It sounds like they give us 5 minutes. We get 5 minutes to have an after party in the chat until it automatically closes the chat out. We typically do that after every stream, every day. So if you want to hang out with us in chat for 5 minutes, we do that, and we just get kicked. And then after that, I'll go ahead and release the XRP video that I've already recorded, edited, uploaded, and YouTube has already processed. On that note, we're at 57 minutes, far longer than 30, typical behavior that I have there to not meet my timeline. But we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, all right, that's going to be it for this one, guys. Markets in the morning in the books. Looks like we've got mixed day on Wall Street. You got NASDAQ up about 0.8%, S&P up about 0.4%. You got the Dow about flat. You got Coinbase up 10% this morning. Whoopie-doo. And you got most of the crypto market slightly in the green today. Nothing too crazy coming off of XRP clearing over those levels. But all right, that's going to be it for this one. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice, and I am not a financial advisor. But if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a good one.